We have with us today Dr. Maria, who is the Associate Professor in Aging and Medical Sciences. Welcome, Dr. Maria, for National Dynamic Medical Student Summit.
Thank you, Dr. Sarjan. Thank you for the opportunity that I can be on this platform and to share whatever I know about it.
Great. So the entire intention of our summit and the discussion is to give the practicality of a particular specialty, in this case, community medicine, for the students to get so that they can make an informed decision on their career choice when it comes for that situation. Right. So with that, let me ask you. The first thing is, why do you choose community medicine as a career choice?
To be frank, it was not my first choice. Okay, it was not first choice that I want to do community medicine. But then I took it because then when I started doing it, it actually sort of opened, it's like opening the windows, you can say. It helps you understand that there is much more to what happens to a patient than that you can know in the four walls of a hospital, or you're sitting in the OPD and saying it. So you can see that. For that's why, even though I took it not as a first choice, but as the years, through my 3 years, that I learned that there is much more that you can do rather than being only seeing always. You see OPD and all that, but there's something beyond the hospitals, which is actually taking place in the community, and that is what is going to affect the health of all the people. So that was one thing that I learned once I started. Through my 3 years, and I find it is a good specialty subject if you are interested in it. If you are taking it as not your first choice, but then you need to like it and you need to develop your interest in it.
Great. So, now being in this specialty for all these years, what do you think the pros of taking this particular specialty?
The pros are the scope. You say that you have a number of branches in it, and that you can look it as a scope, because you can actually go into any of the areas, be it epidemiology, be it infectious diseases, be it administration, be it occupational health, be it health communication. So it actually gives you a scope to enter any of these areas. And you can also actually go into core research, because you have a strong hold on research methodology because you're doing it. You also learn about data management, data flow, and all these things. And the other pro is, like, you really feel like now what happened is, you see today once COVID has come, and you realize the importance that, it's not only what you saw in the hospital was a reality, you know that there was a lot of it which happened outside. So after some time, when you practice over the years, you realize that it is actually, you may not be able to help one person. Everything cannot be happening just by sitting in the hospital. So there are so many determinants to the health. So you can actually really bring about an impact by being in community medicine and doing it. What are the different practices that you can do in the community? So you can, it will actually improve the individual patient care, and also you can go beyond to the family and to the community. So unless you're doing that, you may only manage the tip of the iceberg, but there's a lot of things which is there submerged, which you can actually do it by the real practice of community medicine. Those are the pros that I feel of taking up community medicine.
Got that. Right. So looking at the pros, having a lot of areas where you can be more oriented into. So what would be the cons of being in this particular specialty?
The only cons I feel is you may not be able to tell someone, if you say I'm a doctor in community medicine, so then they ask you, what is it? So general people don't know, but I think that is going to be for some time. So today, if you see COVID, and then you had epidemiologists coming and talking on the TV, you had doctors from community medicine department coming and talking, you had public health specialists coming and talking, and you had a lot of public health coming out, as it is one of the important things. So I think that is the only cons I feel, because when you tell someone that I'm from community medicine, they are a little bit, they don't know what it is, but it may change. So with the people have actually now they know what is an epidemiologist, And everybody's talking about isolation and quarantine, which was there only in part otherwise.
Yeah.
I think that also will move on. It may not be a con later. I think that's the only con which is there. Other than that, I feel everything is okay.
Yeah. Ma'am, so with that, I think what we would like to know is, in your view, what would be the for whom this particular specialty would be an ideal choice? What type of students?
So the ideal choice, and there are some of you, like you who have taken MBBS and you don't want to restrict yourself to the four walls of the OPD, or you are not actually interested in only giving the OPD care or only surgical care. This is a branch that is ideal for you, so that you're really interested and you can work wonders. This gives you a lot of opportunities to go beyond in various sectors. The other one is, I should say, if you like to travel, and then you can take up so many things, because most of your other jobs which you're looking at, consultant jobs, involves a lot of travel. So if you like that, and there are some people who joined MBBS but they are still in love with mathematics, they like numbers and all. So for them also, after that you can enter other areas like mathematical modeling of infectious diseases, data management, all these things are there. So I think if you are falling into these criteria, it's the best thing to take. For them, it is the best choice. I mean, you can say it's the first choice that they can take community medicine.
Right. So I think that was very interesting about what you put across. One is that the students were very very agile and who have been working very actively been in their student career, and if they would looking to doing a more bigger impact. I think this is one area which you also suggested. And one of the interesting thing which you put across is mathematics. Students who have been very good in mathematics, and if they want to pursue their future in that particular area, I think that's one of the strong area. So with that, I think we need to also look into what are the other super specializations available in this particular area once you're done with your MD computer medicine.
So when you look now, most of the times when you're in MBBS, you hear that, super specialization is an DM or an MCH. But in community medicine, you don't have such sort of names, but you definitely you can do in all these subjects, you can go on for the super specialization. And it may not be offered in a conventional medical school. Okay, you may have other universities which are offering. For example, if you talk about epidemiology, you have CDC, which gives a course as epidemiological intelligence services. Okay, so that you have a course in that. You also have PhD programs in epidemiology which are available, which you can pursue. Then if you are looking at health economics, also you have a number of organizations which are giving you certificate course in health economics. Occupational health, so you also have diploma in occupational health. If you're thinking of going into that area, you can go ahead and do occupational. If you are looking at administration as a section, so then you also have diploma courses in health administration. You have MBA in hospital administration. These courses which are available, and you also have a number of, NIHFW has a number of courses in health and family planning. I mean, health planning, health education, policy making. So you have a number of courses which are available. And some of these courses can also be done as distance education. You can do these courses as you're doing your PG. You don't have to wait that you finish it and then you do. So you can do these things. So you also have, if you want to enter into the field of disaster, Sajjan will be knowing about it because he himself has done a course in disaster management. So you also have courses which are offering. So you can do all these things. So unlike the conventional things, what you are learning in a medical college, that you see these things, it's not like that, but you have various super specializations which is available depending upon the area that you want to select. And it is offered in different institutions. You have national level certified courses which is there from the Ministry of Health. You have from the Center of Disease Control. Then you have from National Communicable Disease Center, you have courses. You also have courses from IGNOU which are there. Yeah. So all these courses are there which we can add on to decide which area you want to go further. So we have a number of areas which we can specialize in.
Right. So I think that was an very extensive list of options and opportunities what a MD community medicine graduate can look into as a career options. And specializing in a core area and taking that forward. Where is it required? Now, looking at all the specialization is fine and done. Now, what are the opportunities in terms of career in India for MD computer medicine students?
So as you've seen, you have a number of areas that you're specialized in. So you have a number of scope also. Now, the fanciest being is you say that you work for WHO, you work for other international organizations, you work as a program lead, you work as a consultant. You can work for you work for UNICEF. You have a UNICEF consultant. You can work for UNDP. Okay, so these are all the various international governmental organizations. You can also work for a number of international other organizations like Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, USAID. So all these things have their different programs and projects running. So they want program coordinators, they want consultants, they can work for that. You can also, even if you are not working for these international, you also have various posts at the national ministries and our state ministries, which have for all the national programs, you have program lead, you have a director for the program, you have a deputy director. Starting from the national, to the state, to the district, you have the entire chain, okay, for all these programs. So you can work in all these things. When you're coming, sometimes some states give you a direct entry into these services in the health, but some of them you have to work as in charge of a CHC or something for some time, then you can get absorbed into these posts. You also have posts like epidemiologists. So epidemiologist posts are available right from the national level to the state level, the district level. You also have national institutes like ICMR. Okay, they also have posts for epidemiologists which are there. These are all these things. Then you also have, now if you are interested in entering into occupational health. So if you talk about any industry today or any big firms, they always need an occupational health consultant. So you can get yourself trained in one of the degrees in occupational health, and you can just go about, and it is, you can do a lot of changes in the way people are working and bring about a lot of change. And it is also quite a lucrative option to work in. Then you can also enter into the area of health economics. So whenever you're implementing so many things, you have to look at what is the benefit that you're getting and what is the cost that you're putting in. So you will have various times when you need to have a health economic analysis. So these posts are again available at national level, state level. Also international organizations want people who are trained in health economics to work across. You can also work for administration. So when you have add-on hospital administration, you can work as an administrator in the various hospitals which are there. You can actually work for NGOs. You have a number of NGOs at various levels. You can work for that. You can start your own NGO and then you can work in the community. You can do that. You can work as a research assistant. You can work in various institutes as a research assistant. You can also work in pharma companies, as a research lead, as a research assistant. Yeah. When you're looking at, clinical trials are running, all these things, you can work in the pharma companies. Then you can also, medical teaching. You can join the medical colleges. Like I'm also working in a medical college. So you can work in medical colleges from central state to a number of private colleges which are available. And you can actually train the undergraduates to realize that, what is actually community medicine and what they also need to do to have a greater impact on the individual patient and on the community. That's also a fulfilling experience. Even working in a medical college, you can actually work in all these areas which are interested. You can do that also. I told you about the administrative section. I think so. These are all the these are all the options that you can. And another thing is preventive. So you have the entire thing. You have things like preventive oncology, preventive cardiology, which is coming up. So you can have your own setup, or also you have people. You have these hospitals which are having preventive clinics which are running. So you can join and work in there, or you can have your own, preventive things running for NCDs and for your oncology. So all these are the various options which are available now.
Yeah, I think that was the way you have structured the entire opportunities. It looks very huge. and there are a lot of opportunities which will open up as they, I think, as the students develop interest. I think that's a huge area where anything which a student has a core interest in can take up and take it forward. Got that. So that's all the opportunities which you have in India. Any insight into what's opportunities available in abroad?
Abroad also now, once you work in your own regional levels and once you have worked at national levels, the same opportunities, you will become as a consultant for various, it can be for programs, it can be for projects which are there, which you can work abroad.
Yeah.
Then when you talk, like you have other countries which having their public health system. Like if you look at US, you have their entire NHS, which is having their own public health system. They have a separate, in India, it is just evolving that you don't have another cadre, but there it is there. But there you may have to go and do an MPH. You will have to do an MPH. Now, when you do a community medicine, the advantage is you can do an MPH from prestigious institutes like if you're talking about John Hopkins and all these things, because you need to write a very good research proposal and have a very good background of what you have done. So if you do an MPH and then you can get into these NHS services, and the public health section into UK. And you can, because all these countries having their own public health data, which is there. You can also work as research assistants in the various organizations, which is there. And even if you don't do MPH, once you have worked in your country and you have got your research, you have got your experience of working in different, from the grassroots level to the national level, you can work for any of these organizations which is there. You can, you will, from going from the country, you can go to the regional headquarters and then you can work abroad. All these options are available.
Yeah, so I think there's a vast amount of opportunities. So only the mindset of the student and what's the core interest the student has. There are a lot of opportunities which is available. That's what I could see from what you shared now. So with that, I think the one of the key area we're looking into India and abroad. What would be the earning potential in these different jobs? What would be a range which you could give us an idea?
So the range, now it all depends on if you're working. Now, if you're working for the international organizations and international agencies, so you start off around 1 lakh, okay? And other than that, you also have, they will cover your traveling expenses, stay, and when you're traveling, all these things. So if you're working at state level and you're working with the Indian government, okay, then you may have little less, maybe around 80,000 if it is the central institutes. And then maybe when you're coming to the state, it may be 60, but there is a growth. So you just start it here and then you're going to go the next level, because they have their own, you just go to the next level of promotion that you're getting.
Yeah.
Then if you're working in a medical college also, you're looking at starting off somewhere between 82 or maybe 60 to 90 that you're starting.
Okay.
But then you will have a good pay, and it all depends on your skills. If you develop good skills and if you're the best in whichever area that you have chosen, then I think that anybody is going to hire you. So all that you have to do is train yourself, try to be in the best, try to get hold of which branch that you want to you want to look at this particular area that you want to work for. And if you work for it, there's no looking back in it. You can work and you will have tremendous growth, and you also have tremendous satisfaction in terms of what you have achieved and what you have done impact. So if you have been good, you have your skills, then I think you will earn. So if you're worried that you will not earn, but if you're ready to work hard in any field that matters, the same thing applies here. If you're able to put in your effort and if you're able to develop your core skills and whichever you want to go, anybody will hire you who wants your skills and you will earn.
Yeah, so that's exactly right, ma'am. Skill is more important than knowledge. Once you have a work experience, you will grow exponentially as you build your skills and knowledge. Got that. So with that, I think one of the area which is very important and the key is work-life balance. So being in the career of community medicine, what's your view on work-life balance?
The work-life balance has been pretty good since I am working in a medical college. So most of the time it's a 9 to 5 job, which is there. So that is when you're working. But when you're working in any of these areas, you may have a little bit of extra working hours. Now, if you're working as a consultant or you're working pure in any of the other programs or something, you may be working for a little more hours. You don't have night calls, okay? That's one thing. But you may have emergencies coming up. Like if you are an epidemiologist and you suddenly have an outbreak, so then you will be called to investigate the outbreak, which is there. So you may have emergency calls depending upon what profile you're looking at. Now, if you're working in a medical college, it's mostly a 9 to 5 job, which is there, and work-life balance is pretty good. So even when you talk, initially your work-life balance may be a little difficult when you're working as a consultant or something. You have few years where you have to put in a lot of travel.
Yeah.
But after that, say 5 years, 6 years, you will be working in your state, headquarters level, and it will be better. Even if you're working as a consultant, if you're working. So initially you will have a little difficulty, but then it will stabilize. So the number of hours you're traveling, the number of hours you're working outside your headquarters will be less. You will be working more into the centralized. So initially, for first 5 years, you may have difficulty. If you're entering the medical teaching profession as such, it is more of a 9 to 5 or maybe maximum 6 job. You don't have night calls and you don't have emergency.
Yeah.
And you can also dedicate your life to the family. Even other branches, if you're looking at other options also, it is the initial years that you have a little struggle, but then there are many people who are much happy with what they are doing and how they have gone about, even though they are not working in medical college, they are having a good work-life balance.
Got that. So I think that's one of the area the student has to look into how that future would be. Right. So that's a great insight. Now looking into now the COVID has changed most of the ball game in each of the field. So one of the field. So what would you see from now going future? What would be the future scope of this specialty in the times to come?
Now there is a big, everybody's talking about the public health cadre coming in. So if you look at the the health policy also has said that you need to have a public health cadre. So I think the options will be great. It's going to open up, and how it's going to I think it should be better. It is going to create more opportunities to work. Okay, because you will have an entire, like you have medical education, you have the health department, you're going to have the public health department, which is going to come in. So I think the options will grow, and also people also have realized, because of COVID, also has taught the importance of public health to a certain extent. So I think there will be also the budgeting, and they will think about having, already it has been moved. So I think in the years to come, the growth will be there. And even if you look at statistics, so if you look at the population and the public health specialists, in other countries, the numbers are much, much better. Even when you look at the same like doctor-patient relationship that you're looking at. Yeah. So in our country, it is much lower. So when we are looking at, there is a scope to improve. There will be more opportunities coming up. That's what I feel with all these things which is happening now. So let's hope for the best.
Yes, absolutely. So now moving into a very interesting area where we'd like to know how was your journey, and could you share the experience in the field of community medicine, what you have come through?
So I basically I joined the medical college and I've been working here. So it has been a good experience, mostly into academic teaching. Okay. So involved in the academics for undergraduates and the postgraduate. So it's been quite a fulfilling journey, which is there. And also, yeah, you are free after 5 o'clock to come into your family, and you're there. And also, you also have the time to look at research. Okay, you can think about working in projects. Okay, so that also you can work. You may have number of areas that you're interested to work for. So that also has been quite a enriching experience. Yeah, that's what's been my experience in.
Yeah. So with that, what challenges you think you have faced in this particular process?
The challenges, many of the times, because we don't have one is like, even if you are maybe because we have been working with the private sector, So it's very sometimes get into with the bureaucrats and to get things done. Even when we looked at COVID, we were called in to work with the surveillance and all these things. But sometimes the health department is something like closed sector, which they don't allow us to enter from the private sector. That is one thing, especially if you're working with the private sector. But that is, if you're working with the government sectors, that also is not, that may not be a difficulty which is faced, because it's much easier to enter. And sometimes, getting funds to do your activities that you really want the way you want it to be done, it's a little difficult. So you need to get funds rolling, because most of the places, most of the people say you have put in so much and what are you getting? What you get is not always in monetary terms. So you need to get in different terms. So getting funds for your, if you want funds to get a new clinic, there will be people who come across to give. But if you want to run something activity at the community level where they are not actually directly gaining anything, it becomes a little difficult. So getting funds to what you really want to do becomes difficult. So these are the challenges that I have faced.
Yeah, got that. So with those challenges and also the career path which you took, which could you just tell us which is the best part of having this, being in this specialty for you?
The best. The best part has been you actually, for me it has been, to look beyond. Many of the times you see patients and coming, and we make a more effort to even look at, why, if they're not taking medications, what may be the reason. So you're trying it. We now think that you need to help them. It is not your responsibility only to treat the patient and just leave it there, but you also need to maybe link them to their various other benefits. Now, if you're looking at, you have a lot of people who are old people who are there in the community. So you can actually easily link them to you wouldn't, once I have done community medicine, I think, okay, tell them about this pension scheme which is there, enroll them for their, okay, so that is one thing. So it helped me to be better in terms of giving care to the community. And also, you can have the opportunity to work in research. Okay, so that is, it gives you a lot of, even the medical colleges also need research grants projects, which is there. So it gives a fulfilling experience when you've been working for some research and you see that you are able to bring something out of your research, which you can implement as a policy later. And that will give you some, it's been quite satisfying.
So basically looking beyond what the patient presents as the symptoms, and addressing that at the individual and the family and at the community level is one of the best part of this particular area for you. Got that. So with that, I think we are in the almost at the end. So we'd like to know what would you guide our upcoming doctors to take this specialty as a kid?
I think it is a good specialty. Now, if you like it, now if you, as I told you initially, if you are meeting these criteria, you want to look beyond the four walls, and you feel that I just can't bring a difference by just sitting here. I need to get out, and if that's what is there, and if you like numbers and you like to travel and you want to work for the greater good, not for the one person, and then this is the place that you have to be. Okay, this is a specialty that you can take it and you can work wonders with it because you really want to do this. So I think these are the people who can opt for community medicine rather than, you have, if you also are looking at, some of people want to even work in civil services and, prepare for that. Even if you are not able to get into it, you can take community medicine because you can work at the district level and you can not as a bureaucrat, but you can push as a health policy maker, you can push your things from the other direction also. So for those also, I think if you're not able to make it to the civil services, you can still think of community medicine because you can enter into the administrative section through the health carer itself.
So Yeah. So I think with that, I think that's a wonderful area where you told people from different areas and also to look into someone who want to be of a big, bigger good, and also in administrative areas who could look into this area. Right, great. So what I see is like you being in this particular area and you taking up a community medicine and actually standing for the bigger good and looking beyond what patients present as a symptoms and intervening at the level of family and the community really inspires us. And also being in an education sector and inspiring a lot of students in their career pathway. Thank you so much, ma'am, for doing this and being for all the students. And thank you so much for being here today with us and sharing your experience with us.
Thank you, Sachin. Then I should also say that people who want to be entrepreneurs, Sachin is the biggest example that we can have because he has gone into so many areas which is there. So there's another thing that you can enter because of community medicine also. Thank you for this opportunity that I could share my experience, and thank you for giving me this platform. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. It's our pleasure. Thank you.
Isn't this valuable to know the career pathway of a specialist? Hear from experiences of 50 plus consultant doctors from across India. Get an insight into 22 plus medical specialties and make an informed career decision which will shape your future. Join India's first of a kind online medical specialty summit exclusively designed for medical students. Visit our website drsajjanacademy.com to know more. Don't miss out on this golden opportunity.